Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to an excited Wrestling Days because we are going to have a look at some more WWE Mattel action figures. And honestly, this video contains some of my all-time favorites. We are going to have a look at those superstars that go the extra mile when it comes to their appearance, when they put on their face paint. All of these figures are based on superstars that wear face paint. And honestly, it's an extra level of detail that I really think makes some of these figures stand out. If you've got a massive collection, say you had, just imagine for a second, you had one of every figure that has been made by Mattel in that WWE range, I'm promising you now, those face-painted figures would stand out because honestly, it's an extra level of detail. It costs more to make these figures because obviously not only do you have to sculpt the face, but then you have to put this intricate face paint pattern on top. So we are really looking at the creme de la creme here. Let's get started, shall we? Let's have a look at Finn Balor. Of course, we're starting with Finn Balor. Not only does Finn have a painted face, but he actually extends it down to the body. There's been some absolutely epic Finn Balor Demon King figures that you can see on screen. Check this one, though. This is kind of like a rare one. It's a basic Demon King. It was never released in any line. You had to buy an NXT Takeover ring. It was an exclusive figure that came with a ring. So that is very, very cool. For the record, this is my favourite Finn Balor. I have said it quite a few times. So let's move on to the Boogeyman. Yes! The Boogeyman Elite Series 48 looks absolutely awesome. Really do like that figure. I mentioned this figure in the recent Best Elite Figures from Series 41 to 60. I will put a link on screen because we are actually going to look at a few figures from those series right now. So we've got the Boogeyman. Next up, Asuka. Now I know that Asuka doesn't have the most intricate face paint. It's literally just one black line, but it's still quite important. It's like war paint. It's like she's getting ready for war. And then, of course, she comes with that fantastic mask as well. So, yeah, very, very cool. I would honestly say my favourite is Elite 47 at the moment. But there is a fourth coming, Asuka, that looks epic. Next up, the Ascension. We've got a tag team. The Ascension, these guys get easily forgotten about because you don't see them on TV that much, but they were awesome down in NXT. A couple of really great Elite figures here. 47.5, I believe the series was. Also in 47.5, Goldust. Again, Goldust fully paints his face. He's been around so long, it's easy to forget about Goldust and just how epic his figures are, but they are amongst some of the all-time best. And I love 47.5. It's a retro, classic-looking Goldust. So very, very cool. Moving on, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! Hacksaw Jim Duggan. This is based on SummerSlam 1989. And it's got the USA Stars and Stripes painted on his face. How cool is that? That match, by the way, was Jim Duggan and Demolition versus Andre the Giant and the Twin Towers. Talking of Demolition. Demolition! Yes, of course we've got to have Demolition. Axe, Smash, Crush. All three of them with some of the most iconic face paint. Axe and Smash you can only get in an early Legends series. Very, very cool though. Love those figures. And then Crush came out after. Crush was in Elite Series 28. I'm really hoping that we get a heel Crush at some point. Not sure if he's under like a merch contract or anything. But if we do, that'd be another face-painted character. Next up, we've got Tensei. Tensei has got like Japanese characters on his face. I'm not sure if it was meant to look like a tattoo. It definitely was painted on though. So that's why Tensei is included here. A great figure with some great accessories. That is Elite Series 22. Ultimate Warrior, probably the most iconic face paint. The Ultimate Warrior, you can see a few different warriors on screen right now. I would honestly say that my favourite is the Hall of Champions Warrior. If I had to just pick one, I would go with that Hall of Champions. I just love it. But I think there might be a better one on the way. That Ultimate Edition with that robe looks absolutely stunning. Again, I wasn't just saying it. These are amongst my all-time favourite figures. Bash at the Beach. This is such an interesting set. So you get 3 figures in here. And this is based, of course, on that iconic match when you had Macho Man, Lex Luger, and Sting take on Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and a mystery third person. And that person turned out, of course, to be Hulk Hogan. It was Hulk Hogan's heel turn. So this is based on that match. All 3 with face paint. So you can actually get Macho Man with face paint, Lex Luger with face paint, and of course Sting, who always has face paint, because our next person is Sting. Sting is here. You can get some great Sting figures. Look at this battle pack that comes with Triple H. It's a WrestleMania battle pack. But they've actually made it so that the face paint has worn off. It's kind of like Sting mid-match or towards the end of the match where his face paint has worn away. I think that's so epic. I'd love for them to do that a little bit more often. But Sting-wise, I love the Crow. The Crow, defining moments. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. What a figure. They did loads. They've done loads of great things. I mean, there's like Elites. There's other defining moments. So, yeah, there's loads of Stings. I still feel like I want another Surfer Sting. I know they came out with a Surfer Sting recently, but I still feel like there's so many more ring attires to explore. I hope they keep coming out with more and more Stings. Next up, Legion of Doom. Legion of Doom. I've got Elite 30 on screen with the red shoulder pads. I think they're the most iconic. Of course, this has to be the most iconic face-painted tag team. Either these or Demolition. But, oh, what a rush! Yoshitatsu! We got Yoshitatsu. This is a basic. I think it's like Series 20 Global Superstars. The Elite didn't have face paint. It's only the basic. How crazy that there's more detail on his face on the basic than there is on the Elite. But it's such a great figure. Really, really rate that. One of my favourite basics. The Usos, this is obviously before they turned heel. I think Battle Pack 44 looks pretty cool. It's actually got like face paint logo motif on their t-shirts as well. So kind of really captures their characters around this time. So yeah, they've made a few battle packs, even some elites of the Usos where they had face paint. But I think this Battle Pack 44 just kind of pops a little better. Next up, we've got Doink. Doink the Clown, of course we have. Doink the Clown, Elite 34. This comes with like swappable hair. But that is an iconic face paint, isn't it? What a character as well. Makes for such a fantastic figure. Next, we got Stardust. I've got Elite 36 on screen. Very detailed. Also in Elite 36, Goldust. Of course, Stardust and Goldust were tag team champions together. So it makes sense that both of these came in the same Elite series. Next, Jeff Hardy. So they did make Elite Series 1. That was cancelled because Jeff left. Then many years later, they finally released it as an entrance grate, but you can see differences between the two on screen right now. Thankfully, we are getting another Jeff Hardy with face paint in Elite 67. There's actually going to be a Chase variant as well, so they're making two different Jeff Hardys. There's not a great deal of difference between the two, but there are going to be two. It's definitely worth mentioning. A lot of excitement for that figure. Next up, Kamala! Yes, Kamala with his war paint, his tribal markings. Love this figure. You know I love this figure. Everybody loves this figure. Lost Legends Kamala, one of the all-time greats. Next up, we got Shark. This was like a standalone release. It wasn't part of any series. It just came out on its own. He's obviously got, like, I think it's shark teeth kind of painted on his cheeks. Doesn't really need it, but it is there. So it does count. And really cool that we actually got this as a release. I never expected the Shark to be released as a Mattel figure. So very cool. Next up, Sensational Sherri. She is in Elite 65. This is an exclusive somewhere. I can't remember if it's Target or Walmart, but it's definitely an exclusive somewhere. So not sure how easy this is to find. We're still waiting for it here in the UK, but hopefully we get it. I think Smiths are actually showing that it's going to be in their stores, so keep an eye out for this because it is awesome. I love the classic retro female figures like this Sensational Sherri. We were meant to get a Wendy Richter. I'm still hoping we get a Bull Nakano. Bull Nakano as well. She's got face paint, so she would totally count in this list. So very cool. Next, Papa Shango. You can get a Hall of Champions pack with the Warrior. Both figures in that pack have got face paint. You, of course, can get Papa Shango on his own as well in Elite Series 12. Love that figure. Next up, Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle in Battle Pack 2. Had a few markings on his face. Had a little bit of war paint. He was ready to rumble. Came with Finley. Of course, the two of them together. Very fun. That's a very fun battle pack. And then, finally, we've got Umaga. Yes, Umaga with traditional Samoan paint. This is, I believe, Elite Series 40. Again, one of the all-time great figures. It's got loads of tattoo detail. Comes with a sarong. All the great figures should. Absolutely love that. A few figures that I would love to see Mattel make, please, that have face paint. We've already spoke about Bull Nakano, but I would love to see a great Muta. The great Muta, one of the all-time great wrestlers. I think Asuka actually said it was her biggest inspiration, the great Muta, and obviously held loads of championships, wrestled in WCW. There's a match he had with Sting at Starrcade in 1989. Again, face paint versus face paint. Very cool. Next, Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. Not sure we're ever going to get this, but it's so iconic. Abe was just a jobber. But what a jobber! Look at that, Mr. Baseball. Imagine that as a figure. That would be an epic figure. It really would. And then the Renegade. So for those of you that haven't heard, the Renegade was like WCW's Ultimate Warrior. They couldn't get the Ultimate Warrior at the time, so they made their own, and they called him the Renegade, and he's just got this R on the side of his head. He was around for a few matches. Hulk Hogan actually brought him in. I think he teased the Ultimate Surprise. How about that? Even using the word Ultimate, imagine the disappointment when it wasn't the Ultimate Warrior, but it was the Renegade. Very, very cool. Honestly, some of my favourite figures in this video. I hope you enjoyed having a look at these with me. If I did miss any superstars that have face paint in the Mattel line, let me know. I think I got them all, but I could have missed one. So let me know in the comments below. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. And hopefully, I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.